like a coming storm. The status report is due in the morning. The breakdown structure for my Project Management 500 class, Dr. J. Project management is the overall management of a product and resources on a short-term basis to achieve an objective or goal. There are two types of life cycles related to project management. The first cycle is predictive because it follows a linear, sequential path. This is why it is also known as waterfall. The second type of cycle is iterative, which follows a repeated cycle or iteration pattern to progressively refine the product or deliverable. The purpose of this presentation is to identify the activities, functions, or work elements associated with delivering the scope and quality for a project. It is also to look at the main considerations of project requirements, including elicitation, revolving and discovering requirements, and managing requirements. Exploring a work project breakdown, WBS for short, and creating a WBS based on the project elements presented in a case study or problem. We will also explore how the WBS can be used to plan the project scenario from the textbook. What is project management? Project management is simply the planning, organizing, directing, and controlling of company resources on a short-term basis to achieve an objective or goal. Approaches to project management. As we talked earlier in the introduction, there are two main cycles related to project management. The predictive cycle, also known as the waterfall because it follows a linear and sequential path, and the iterative cycle, which follows a repeated cycle or iterated patterns. There are many desired outcomes of project management. 5 of the most prominent ones are contributions to business objectives and advancement of strategy, realized outcomes expected to be delivered, benefits realized in planned time frame, clear understanding of requirements, stakeholders accept and are satisfied with the project deliverables. This is the crux of where you want to get. You want the stakeholders to be satisfied with the project deliverables. There are 8 performance domains of project management. Those domains are stakeholders, team, develop approach and life cycle, planning, work project or project work, delivery, measures, and uncertainty. Delivery performance domains help to ensure the project's output meet the defined scope and quality standards, ultimately delivering stakeholder value. Scope is what the project must deliver. Quality is the performance standard or level of There are 5 subdomains of the delivery performance domain. The first is delivery of value. Delivery of value is. The second is requirements elicitation. Requirements elicitation is a requirement that a condition and capabilities that must be present in a product, service, or result to meet a business need. It is also that the requirement must be drawn out, brought forth, or evoked. This is referred to as requirement elicitation. Elicitation can involve collecting and analyzing requirements to ensure satisfaction on project results. Documentation of elicitation requirements should be clear, concise, verifiable, coherent, complete, and traceable. The third is scope definition. The definition of scope is the sum of the products, services, or outputs to be delivered by the project. As the requirements are identified, the scope will be. The fourth is quality. Quality. Quality dictates the level of performance or delivery that must be achieved. It's important to note that quality comes with a cost. That is why it is important when looking at a project that you evaluate the cost of quality. So there are four categories that you want to evaluate. One is prevention, to guarantee a product free from defects or faults. So that's like a top priority that unfortunately costs. Evaluation, incurred to determine the degree of compliance with quality requirements. There's internal failure, involves finding and correcting defects before the customer receives them. That's very, very, very important. The other is external failure, defects discovered after the customer has received the product and it needs repairs. The fifth is suboptimal outcomes. Suboptimal outcomes. While all projects seek to deliver results, sometimes the results might be suboptimal or fail altogether. Businesses might produce suboptimal results or fail for a variety of reasons. For instance, an organization might attempt to create an innovative product such as a new technology. This requires deliberate investment with uncertain outcomes. Alternatively, some projects might have suboptimal results because the opportunity is past and competitors have arrived first. Work breakdown structure. A work breakdown structure is an hierarchy decomposition of the total scope of the work to be carried out by the project team to accomplish the project objective and create the required deliverables. Using the case study in 11.2, we can see the work breakdown structure of a new product. On the top line, we have new product. Under the dimensions of analyze, design, build, test, and deliver, we have subcategories such as market and cost analysis. Under the heading of market cost and analysis, we can see marketing test, analyze sales costs, review plant costs. Then we have requirements and feasibility, which is the final inspection, review meetings, and initial approval. As we move on to the design phase, we can see product and artwork design. Under that category, we have four subcategories such as layout artwork, approve artwork, review meeting, design phase. Amongst the design, we also have the sales and distribution planning, because obviously if you're designing artwork or whatever, you need some way to distribute and sell that. That's where it comes in as select distributors, select salespeople. Then we also have the infrastructure planning, which is the billing process, credit procedures, and so forth. We also have the build cycle. So that involves production, making it, sales material, producing literature, distributing literature, sales of the literature, producing like sales promotion, plan trade advertising. Then we have the test. So we want to test what we've put together. That's where we have marketing test execution, revision of cost and production, revised selling. We have another review meeting in the test phase. Then we also have training and feedback, where you take and you train the distributors and train the salespeople. Finally, you have within the delivery section, you have the launch. So we have launch, which is introduction to the trade shows, sales promotion, transition into operations. Work breakdown structure to plan the project scenario. The work breakdown structure, or WBS, is a fundamental tool that can be used to plan projects by breaking down complex projects into smaller, manageable components. This hierarchical decomposition allows for detailed planning, resource allocation, risk assessment, and effective project monitoring. The WBS works to paint a clear picture of the overall project and break it down into manageable deliveries or parts through the process of categorizing, taking analyze, design, build, test, deliver. Each work package, i.e., train the distributor, defines exactly what needs to be done or what must need to be completed. The process also eliminates ambiguity and ensures every task is aligned with the project's end goal, i.e., the launch of the product. It also works to contain costs by evaluating level 3 packages and easing out costs. In addition, it helps manage resources by identifying discrete tasks that need to be completed. In conclusion, we have looked at several factors related to property management, including the introduction, two types of life cycles related to project management, predictive and iterary, the activities, functions, or work elements associated with delivering the scope and quality for a project, the main considerations of project requirements, elicitation involving and discovering requirements and managing requirements, and exploring a project work breakdown structure. I want to take this time to thank you for listening to my presentation.